On September 8th, we've got the first pay-per-view in a little over a month, much anticipated main event and co-main event, two title fights. We've got Valentina Shevchenko finally getting her chance to get the 125-pound belt. And then we've got Darren Till versus Tyron Woodley. Seems like everybody wants to see that one. There's three women's fights on the main card, and on a pay-per-view, that's actually pretty good. Haven't really seen that before. We've got the return of Zabit. There's a lot of hype behind that. This is just an all-around really good card, or in my opinion, it is at least. And here's a warning, though. If you don't care about my channel whatsoever and you just want to hear the predictions, skip ahead now and just go to those, because I got to talk about some more channel stuff because a lot has happened since my last video. So if you don't care, just skip ahead. But if you do care, just stick around for a minute. Okay, so this is kind of a bittersweet moment for my channel, a bittersweet period in time, because I recently got almost 4 million views on that James Gallagher video that I posted, and I've been super happy for the past couple days, and I just want to take a minute to thank every single person that watched that and liked it and shared it and whatever. I mean, it means a lot to me. It was just like a 1 minute long video, so it was a really insignificant short part of your lives, but it's a big part of mine, and I really appreciate it. And that's the sweet part, obviously, but however, this is kind of where it gets bitter, and that's getting millions of views. I guess got a lot of attention directed to my channel, and I've had a couple videos flagged for copyright reasons, videos that have been up for over a year, and they were manually flagged, which means someone from the UFC obviously saw my video, went on my channel and watched those, and then said they were, violating copyright strikes for audio-visual content or whatever that is. It's BS. I mean, it really is. And also, the James Gallagher video got flagged by an employee from Bellator and Viacom or whatever that is, their little broadcasting service. So that video got taken down, but I was like, hell no, my first 4 million view video is not about to get taken down. So I filed a dispute. Hopefully they read it and understand. I mean, it's clearly using fair usage laws. There's non-copyright music over it. It's different clips from different sources. The weigh-ins were public, so I don't even know why they'd have a problem with that. They're just mad because I probably got more views on that video than they actually got of people watching that fight when it was on. And I'm not even making money off this. Listen, some people are on here putting like 50 ads in their videos, literally just stealing fights from Fight Pass and uploading them, putting ads on them. I'm not getting anything from this. I'm making videos, trying to bring more attention to the sport, more casual viewers, and for some reason, people are mad at that. I actually like Bellator. I'm one of like the few people that actually has respect for Bellator. Even though they clearly give tomato cans to their prospects and do a whole bunch of other janky stuff like that, they still have my respect. And that just kind of pisses me off that they took my video down just because it got a whole lot of views. When it was sitting at like 23K views, nobody cared. The same thing with the other videos. Like, I had some UFC like the flyweight montage of highlights in the flyweight division that I posted over a year ago. It's set on YouTube for over a year, and all of a sudden it gets hit with a copyright strike. So the most important thing I'm trying to say is I have a couple copyright strikes now, and if I get a couple more, that might be the end of MMA Superboy. I'm not going to court over a YouTube channel. I would like to, but I really don't have the funds for that, and it gets into all that kind of stuff. So if I could get some RIPs in the comments section, I'd appreciate that. And I've appreciated all my listeners and people that actually care about what I have to say for, I guess, the past over a year. I really do appreciate it. Hopefully nothing happens and they leave my video up. Hopefully my channel doesn't get taken down. Obviously, that would really suck. I would probably make a new one, but I mean, I have like almost 4,000 subscribers now, and it's taken a long time to get that far. So hopefully everything goes well, and I appreciate all my subscribers and all of you who have been listening for this long. But if things go bad, I just want you to know what happened. I don't want you to think that I just quit for no reason. So thank you for listening to this, and without any further ado, let's get right into these main card predictions. All right, for the first matchup on the main card, we've got number 15 ranked featherweight Zabit Magomedsharipov. This dude is getting a lot of hype. As pretty much all of you should know, he was supposed to fight Yair Rodriguez multiple times. This time, Yair pulled out because he had a bruised, I think it was a bruised pinky toe or something like that. A really serious injury, so no hate on him. And he's fighting Brandon Davis. I already had a lot of respect for Brandon Davis because of how he fights. He's just a really tough, gritty, fun to watch guy. But anybody that would fight Zabit on a little over a week's notice, I mean, this dude has my actual respect. Like, there's MMA respect and me being like, okay, I respect that guy. This dude has my actual respect. So Zabit versus Brandon Davis. Unfortunately for Brandon, he does have my respect, but I don't think this fight's gonna go his way. Zabit is like a Sambo world champion. He's one of the most well-rounded fighters on the roster, in my opinion. Super good striking, super unorthodox. I'm pretty sure he's also the biggest featherweight on the roster. And I just don't see this going Brandon's way. Brandon is just a gritty, tough guy, questionable technique, and doesn't really have good ground skills. And Zabit, in my opinion, is the full package. So not a lot of like analytical brain power needed here. I just think Zabit's going to go in there, and I think he could finish it any way he wanted. Hopefully, it's a Kyle Bochniak type fight where it gets fight of the night and everybody loves it. But I probably see Zabit here by submission, just because he has such good ground skills. Obviously, being from Dagestan and all that, and having so many accolades. Just look up Zabit's accolades. Too many to talk about right now. So I think Zabit is probably going to win in the striking for maybe the first 2 rounds and probably get a submission in the late second or third. So right here, I've got Zabit by late submission. Hopefully he can fight Yair in the future, but I highly doubt Yair is even going to be in the rankings or on the roster after this. So I've got Zabit by submission. Next up, we have former strawweight champion Carla Esparza versus rising up-and-comer Tatiana Suarez. I've kind of been hyping up Tatiana for a long time because I've always thought she was going to be really good ever since she was on The Ultimate Fighter. I mean, her wrestling is just on another level. She can control these girls pretty much with ease. I got to watch her live in Norfolk, Virginia, fighting Vivian Pereira, and she pretty much destroyed her. It was a really interesting performance to watch. And in Tatiana's last fight against Alexa Grasso, I mean, that's self-explanatory right there. First round submission, completely dominated her. Carla, I will say, is looking really good at this point in her career. In her last fight against Claudia Gadelha, I actually thought she won that fight. She even hurt Claudia with a punch, which I thought was really big because at strawweight, power isn't, the thing that everyone's talking about. It's not their power, it's their speed, their reflexes, all that. So Carla, she's got some power. She's also got some good wrestling skills. But I think against Tatiana, Carla's wrestling isn't going to do any good at all. I see probably another first or second round submission for Tatiana. She's just too much on another level. She's extremely strong, world-class wrestling, and so far it looks like she's got a great chin. So Carla doesn't really have any attributes here that I think are going to put Tatiana in any danger whatsoever. So I think Tatiana, we're going to see her beat Carla and move up the rankings. Maybe I think Tatiana's like maybe 2 fights away from a title shot, maybe 2 or 3. 3's kind of a stretch. I'm going to say 2. So in this fight, I've got Tatiana winning by either a dominant wrestling-filled decision or a submission. Next up, we have another women's strawweight matchup. Jessica Andrade takes on Karolina Kowalkiewicz. This is most likely a title eliminator. I believe whoever wins this fight is definitely going to fight Rose next. As much as I want to say I think Karolina is going to get the victory, I actually don't. Jessica has looked like a complete killer at this weight class. And to put things in perspective, Jessica completely destroyed Tisha Torres and beat her worse than Joanna Jędrzejczyk did. I mean, this is a different Jessica we're talking about. She's built like a vending machine. She's got crazy power and just scrambling skills. She's extremely strong. She used to be a women's bantamweight, and now she's 2 weight classes down, and the strength really shows. Karolina's strong point, on the other hand, is her precise striking. She even had some success in the striking against Joanna, which was really surprising. But in this fight, I think we're going to see something similar to when Karolina fought Claudia, and it was a quick submission. I just don't think Karolina is going to be able to hang with Jessica's pace and just brutality. I don't think Jessica's going to knock out Karolina, but she could hurt her on the feet. But I think she's just going to come and bull rush her down. She's going to be too powerful and maybe get a submission on the ground or even a TKO on the ground. I think she is probably just going to outclass Karolina in this one. I don't think Karolina's striking is good enough to stop Jessica's takedowns. And even Karolina's last fight against Felice Herrig, she just looked, her timing wasn't that good. She landed some good elbows from the clinch, but I think Jessica's just going to completely dominate the grappling situations here. So as much as I want to say I think Karolina's going to win, I can't say that. So I've got Jessica Andrade either by a dominant decision or a finish. Well, that's the only two options. What am I even talking about? So for the winner, I've got Jessica Andrade. All right, for the co-main event, we have a much anticipated matchup between champion Nicco Montaño versus Valentina Shevchenko. As many of you know, Nicco was the inaugural flyweight women's champion in the UFC. She won the belt by being on some reality TV show that I don't think anybody watched, and now she's fighting a absolute killer who's dropping down from bantamweight and arguably just beat Amanda Nunes. So I hope that puts things in perspective a little bit. And nothing against Nicco, but I definitely don't think that's the real belt. I think this fight is for the inaugural women's flyweight championship. I mean, the technique difference between these two girls is insane. Valentina is a world-class striker. She's got amazing ground skills, as you could see in her last fight against Priscilla Cachoeira. Completely dominated on the feet, hurt her a couple times, tore her ACL, and then almost killed her on the ground. That fight single-handedly got Mario Yamasaki fired from the UFC. Nicco's a tough, gritty girl, and she's got a lot of pride in her people, so you got to give her respect for that. But, I mean, numbers don't lie, and if you look at each of these girls' resumes and how many, strikes they land, just if you look at the actual technical aspects of their past fights and just who they've beaten and everything, Valentina blows her out of the water. I mean, it's not even close. So I think Valentina in this fight could finish this however she wants to. I think this is probably the most lopsided championship fight in UFC history. If Nicco somehow gets the win, which would be insane, I think, honestly, it would be the greatest upset of all time. That's not even a joke. I'm not joking right here. It's probably the greatest upset of all time because Holly Holm versus Ronda Rousey, people like to say that was the greatest upset, but, I mean, Holly was a lot better than people were giving her credit for. But this is just an insane gap. Nicco hasn't even really had a fight against UFC competition. She just fought girls that were contestants on the show. Valentina went in there and survived and arguably beat Amanda Nunes. So I just think Valentina is going to blow Nicco out of the water here. And I know that's not that interesting of a pick because everybody's probably saying this, but I think we're going to see Valentina Shevchenko as the real women's inaugural flyweight champion. And finally, for the much-anticipated main event, we've got Tyron, the Chosen One Woodley, finally returning from not fighting for over a year at this point, versus one of the most popular fighters in the UFC, rising contender Darren Till, coming off of a very impressive victory over Stephen Thompson. This fight, first of all, I just want to start out by saying Tyron Woodley, the dude's like, what is he, like 34, 35, 36? I don't think he's in his prime anymore. I think prime Tyron Woodley was when he knocked out Robbie Lawler. That was prime Tyron Woodley. And I think everything since then has been a downward slope. He looked good against Stephen Thompson, but it wasn't what people were used to seeing in him. And then against Damian Maia, I mean, that was a horrible fight. Not to mention that Tyron has been out for over a year at this point. He's had shoulder surgery. He looks a lot smaller than usual. I just really don't think Tyron's in his prime anymore. And he's fighting a dude that is most definitely in his prime. Darren Till is huge. He towers over Woodley. And not that I give that much weight, no pun intended, to somebody's size advantage. But, I mean, Tyron's looking small. Darren's looking huge. But anyway, in terms of how I think this fight's going to play out, a lot of people are acting like it's going to be some back and forth crazy war. I don't really think that at all. I actually think this is going to be like a third Stephen Thompson fight, or a fourth since Darren's fought him as well. I think these guys are going to be feeling each other out for one, maybe 2 rounds. They're going to be picking their shots. I don't think either one's going to rush in. I think Tyron would have a good chance here if he used his wrestling because, I mean, even Stephen Thompson almost got a takedown against Darren Till, and Stephen's a kickboxer. So if Tyron used his wrestling pedigree here, I do think he would have some success, but I think that would gas him out really fast. And Tyron, it's not like he's locking up submissions or anything. And I mean, he couldn't keep Stephen Thompson on the ground with his wrestling pedigree either. And against a guy as big and strong as Darren Till, I don't know if that'd be a good idea for the later rounds. Maybe if he's losing, he should try to use his wrestling in like the 4th and 5th, but Tyron gassing is a real problem here. So if these guys are feeling each other out for 1 or 2 rounds, I think that's going to gradually make Tyron more and more tired. I think Tyron's best chance would actually be to just explosively try to come and swing some huge overhand right in the first round. But against a guy as technical as Darren, I don't know if that's going to work. So for the edge in size and strength, I have to give that to Darren Till. For cardio, I have to give to Darren Till. For technique, I have to give to Darren Till. Because Tyron Woodley didn't really outstrike Steven in those fights. He just landed the more powerful shots. But Darren Till is a very powerful guy. He's a lot more powerful than Steven was. And he's a lot younger, hungrier, more motivated. So I have to give a lot of advantages. The only thing I would give to Tyron Woodley, probably experience in championship fights, well, obviously, and the wrestling. I would give him those two. But like I said earlier, I don't think Tyron's in his prime anymore, and I think he might even look sloppy after being gone for so long. So it seems like a lot of people are picking Woodley, and I'm assuming he's going to be a little bit of a favorite here. But I just don't see it. I'm being honest here. I mean, he's coming off of a long layoff, and he's fighting probably one of the toughest guys in the division, maybe the toughest, as his first fight back. And I just don't think he matches up well with Darren Till. I think Darren could easily outstrike him. I mean, Darren outstruck Steven by being technically more sound than him. But here, if Tyron leaves himself, like if he overextends, I could see him getting dropped. But to be honest, I don't really see Tyron getting knocked out. Maybe he would gas out and then just not be able to defend himself anymore. But in this fight, I see Darren Till winning a close decision. I think this is going to be like the 4th Stephen Thompson fight. Hopefully it's entertaining. I'm excited for it, but I do have Darren Till by decision here.